Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is another paid request. This time for Julie. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of video, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in info box. I will try to get to it as soon as I can. But this is for a commentary on the film Spaceballs. I have a pause at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. As we have the MGM Lion coming up and then disappearing about, after that, another roar now. And then for sinking we have Spaceballs coming up. And we're past it now. Once upon a time warp. In a galaxy very, 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 very far away, there lived a ruthless race of beings known as Spaceballs. Now, obviously, you can read the chapter 11. Surprised they didn't say bankruptcy. Now, Spaceballs, directed by Mel Brooks, fun film, came out, I want to say 1987, which was a good year for movies. I mean, that's the same year you had Lethal Weapon, RoboCop, The Running Man, Predator, Lethal Weapon, Predator, the RoboCop, all in the same year. It's pretty damn good. Then again, you have movies like Spaceballs and others. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. I mean, damn good year for movies. And Spaceballs, I'm wondering if it was was it Mel Brooks' biggest hit? I know it's seems like his most well known, because I do like Young Frankenstein. I do like Blazing Saddles. I remember enjoying them more than this, but I do like this film quite a bit. I think because while I do like Bill Pullman, I like John Candy, I always thought the villains were more fun in this. I always thought the villains were more funny. Rick Moranis and Mel Brooks and I always forget the other guy's name. Is it George Wyner? George Wyner? Shut up, stomach. But I always thought this was a fun gag where you have the big spaceship, but then it just keeps going and going. And I think it's after about another 30 seconds, people get the joke and then they start laughing about it. And this is one of those early attempts at doing a parody of Star Wars. Because Star Wars seemed like the sacred cow. Like, don't make fun of Star Wars. Big film, big trilogy, pop culture, phenomenon. But, again, Mel Brooks did it for silent films and silent movie. Alfred Hitchcock films and High Anxiety. Westerns for Blazing Saddles. So why not do it for sci-fi films? There's a little bit of other stuff, a little bit of Alien, much later on, a little bit of Star Trek with the beaming, where Mel Brooks' head is turned the wrong side. But it's mostly Star Wars. I mean, instead of the Fords, you have the Schwartz. Pretty much if you combine Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, you get Bill Pullman's character, Lone Star, Darth Helmet for Darth Vader, the Princess, C-3PO but female, right there. But yeah, I do like Bill Pullman and John Candy, but it seemed like whenever we were with the Spaceballs, the villains, the film, that was the funniest bits, that was the funniest parts. And even though it's a parody, there's a good budget and presentation behind it all. Like, I like the costumes, I like the model work done in the vein of Star Wars. Even the design of Darth Helmet, like, it's Darth Vader, but not too much. Like, you had to change a little bit. And Rick Moranis is easily, I think, one of his best roles. He's so hilarious in this. And it makes me wonder what all these guys are saying to themselves. Like, oh shit. Don't look at me, don't look at me. Of course, he get into one of the first big jokes. It's like, I can't breathe in that thing. Can't breathe in this thing. But Rick Moranis just... I understand why he went away from the business, but you know, what he did, perfectly understandable. Take care of his kids. Just missed the guy. Whether it be in Ghostbusters, in this movie, Little Shop of Horrors, very talented. Very funny. And then you think he's going to choke him out like Darth Vader, but don't go with something a bit lower. But the way he's presented just works. I think it's like the reaction of the guy, especially this guy. He just looked off the sides, like, because he just knows. He just. And he immediately covers himself up just in case. Nice to be prepared. But like I was saying with the presentation, you know, nowadays with spoofs, I mean, you don't really see a lot of spoofs anymore because they just, when you make so many bad ones, people are just not inclined to see any more of that type of product. You muddied the waters. What I mean by that is you had Meet the Spartans, superhero movie, date movie, epic movie, even your Scary Movie 4, Scary Movie 5. They're not parodies, but I'm just saying your comedies like Movie 43, inappropriate comedy. I mean, this all just muddied the waters, and people go, nah, I don't want to see a parody. Just now they just think of those awful, horrible, unfunny parodies that just went, hey, this is popular. And it's more so like the Meet the Spartans and the epic movies, and again the later scary movies. Just that movie's popular, we reference that. It's automatically funny because we referenced it. Here they took a subject and they made the characters funny, like Rick Moranis and his subordinate, like Bill Pullman as Lone Star, like Dick Van Patten as the father to Princess Vespa. And Mel Brooks did that well. Comedy based on the characters. Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, and more so. And the actors are committed to their roles. Princess Vespa, played by Daphne Zuniga. Daphne Zuniga was in The Fly 2 after this. Joan Rivers is the voice of Dot, like in the pretty much female C-3PO. Bill Pullman is Lone Star. I liked him in The Serpent and the Rainbow. Really, probably one of his early big roles. I mean, this is before Independence Day, where he's one of the best movie presidents of all time. And it was a chance for him not only to have a bigger part, but to deal with comedy. And Bill Pullman, he's done a lot of other good stuff too, but Independence Day is what I think of first and foremost, and then The Serpent and the Rainbow. But this is a good one for him. I thought, you know, for a guy that's trying to be a little bit of Harrison Ford type, he was a good choice. Although it would have been interesting if it was someone like Kurt Russell in the role, but Bill Pullman did a good job. And I apologize for the clear in my throat. I do apologize for that. That's why I got some water to stop doing that. But that's what I mean, like, okay, it's a parody, but we want the production to be a little bit up to par. Is it as high tech as Star Wars? No, because they didn't have as much of a. But there's still, again, decent stunt, model work for the time. It's not looking like. What's a bad sci-fi movie at that time? What, that one with Joe Spinell? I forgot what the hell it was called. Joe Spinell was the bad guy. I always thought it was interesting to have this Winnebago, but as a spaceship. But at the same time, that's filmed like Star Wars. You have the model, the camera passing by it. You got the star field. So now you have John Candy as Barf, the half man, half dog. And I like John Candy. I love John Candy. I did a marathon reviewing John Candy movies. And I love Summer Rental, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, stuff of that nature. But, sorry, I'm putting my phone away. I was charging it. This was never my favorite role with John Candy, and I don't know why. He's good. I liked him in it, but I never loved him in it. I think because I always felt John Candy seemed underutilized to me in this. I think that's why when I reviewed it, I was in this midst of this John Candy marathon. And, he's the star of Summer Rental and Planes, Trains, Automobiles. The Great Outdoors, Uncle Buck after this. Even films like Cool Runnings. And here, whether it's because the whole half man, half dog motif obviously is a play on Chewbacca being the sidekick, the Han Solo type of character. But just the jokes was kind of just dealing with the makeup and the tail. And John Candy had a lot more to offer than that. And again, I like John Candy in the movie, but he's just never one of my favorite performances from him. Not because the performance is bad, it's just... I think it's just... Honestly, I would prefer if it wasn't the half-man, half-dog thing. If it was just the way John Candy was utilized in films like The Great Outdoors or in films like Summer Rental. Granted, maybe that would seem more typical, but just my own personal preference. But this Pizza the Hut, obviously on Jabba the Hutt, did done practically, guy in a suit, but always disgusted the fuck out of me. With the pepperoni falling and dripping. It's like he should be named Barf more than John Candy's character. And this, it's like if Max Headroom was a fucking android. Like fully like android. But yeah, parodies, people forget back to the day, they did, when done well, you had Airplane. And even Airplane 2 was a fun one. You had Hot Shots. Hot Shots Part 2 I really enjoy. National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1 is one of my favorites with Emilio Estevez and Sam Jackson, and even had William Shatner as the bad guy. You had Burt roles with like Whoopi Goldberg and Tim Curry and Corey Feldman and Phil Hartman and J.T. Walsh, Charlie Sheen, Bruce Willis. Seemed like almost everybody was in Loaded Weapon 1. Yeah, that's a fun visual gag where you have the Princess Leia buns, but they're actually headphones. Spaceballs City will be introduced to Mel Brooks' character as the president. But again, it does seem like the villain portions of the movie are just even... They're more hilarious. They're more funny. Top Secret. Hey, they got the script for that Val Kilmer movie. That's another fun parody, Top Secret. But even little ideas like this, like the fact that you suck up air like drugs, like cocaine. As salt-free air. President Stroob. Because there's a little take on Star Trek where going to beam. They even mention Star Trek in a little bit, and he just beamed the wrong way, and then of course you realize when he gets put back, he only had to walk 5 feet because all this is in the next room. And Mel Brooks, I mean, he's much older, so he doesn't make movies anymore, but that's the thing with a lot of directors today. Not all, but a lot of directors, they just don't have, in my opinion, the talent, the worth that a lot of these guys had in the day, whether it be in horror. You don't have your John Carpenters and Wes Cravens and David Cronenbergs when they were doing these horror films, and you don't have action directors like John McTiernan and John Woo, and even people make fun of him, but Rennie Harlin was a good action director. Or comedy directors like Ivan Reitman or Mel Brooks, and I mean, what great comedy directors do we have today? I don't even know. You just don't have creative voices like Mel Brooks and Ivan Reitman. May he rest in peace. And to me, that gets into the downfall of quality for a lot of these movies nowadays. It's funny, people always talk about, they always do, it's like they can't make up their mind. They say you're too nostalgic, even though I complain about a lot of nostalgia of today. They say I don't like new movies, even though I name like a dozen new movies in the past year or two I like, and they ignore that. Or they go, well, you praise a lot of movies in the past because I think they were done better. There's a lot of people I could talk to, they say, yeah, they like Lethal Weapon, or RoboCop, or Die Hard, or various other action movies more than live actions today. Or comedies. But I could talk to someone about Ghostbusters, or Stripes with Bill Murray, or Spaceballs, and they'll enjoy that type of comedy more than a lot of comedies of today. I'm sorry, think of a comedy in the past year. I'm like, you know what? I think Spaceballs is better. I think Ghostbusters was better. Even Clerks was funnier. Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker were funnier. Subjective? Yeah, it's my subjective. At the end, we get to the villains. He's my cousin. He's an asshole, sir. I know that, but what's his name? Well, this is an asshole. Major asshole. He's an asshole too, sir. How many assholes we got on the ship? Everyone stands up. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing, assholes. It is interesting how back in the day, like, they did away with quite a bit of cursing, and it's still rated PG. And I think the PG-13 was around at this time, I believe. Could be wrong. I'm trying to think. I think Red Dawn, and that was before this. So I'm surprised they didn't get PG-13 for that cussing. But I guess as long as you didn't say fuck or this, that was fine. Assholes, I guess, is fine. Now that I know that I made some Disney films and had them say asshole. What do you want, asshole? Yeah, sorry, I'm getting lost in watching the film. Now, this DVD, it does have features. It's got a commentary by Mel Brooks, a little bit of a documentary, and conversation with Mel Brooks and Thomas Meehan, who worked on the script. A little featurette on John Candy, exhibitor trailer, trivia game, a few others. I don't know if Bill Pullman was interviewed on a documentary. I can't remember. But like John Candy's no longer with us. Rick Moranis doesn't really do a lot of interviews. I know at one point there was like a cartoon that did not last long. Didn't seem that funny at all. And also seemed just too late to do a cartoon. But sorry, I'm waiting. We're not doing this for the money. We're doing it for a shitload of money. I do like Bill Pullman. He's a lot of fun. He's having fun with the role. Like I say, it was nice to see him do a bit of comedy before. Then later on, more serious roles. Serpent and the Rainbow, I think, was after this, and that was more of a serious role. And then on top of that, you had Malice. He was in that. Like I said, Independence Day. Of course, here they jam the signal, which is an actual jar of jam. And we're going to get an appearance by Michael Winslow from Police Academy. Actually, he was in all the Police Academy films. He's like one of the only people that stayed on for all 7 movies. Of course, known for his sound effects. He did do a stand-up special. I think it's on YouTube. He was also in a few Cheech and Chong movies. He was in Cheech and Chong's next movie, I believe. And he still does it. Sure. It is how pissed Rick Moranis gets. All of us, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. I was surprised Michael Winslow didn't get a lot of other roles and other comedies to do this type of shtick. Like he was able to get in this. Maybe they thought the gimmick was running its course, or some other factor. Of course, just the idea that you're jamming the signal, so let's use actual jam. But then, to push it further, make sure it's raspberry, so that he could say, there's a one man who would dare give me the raspberry. There's a lot more wit and creative juices flowing, and again, compared to the past 10 years of spoof movies, where, hey, this movie is, I don't know how the hell John Danny's character is coming out into outer space. You're just not supposed to think about it. Just like, wait a minute, it's outer space. And John Danny just opened up the door. They're not being sucked away and frozen. Again, how John Danny could just climb down a ladder and open up the roof of the car, the spaceship, and they're all going to climb up. It's never explained how the fuck, but I guess with a spoof. And they don't even make it as a joke. They don't even make it as a bit of humor. It's like, yeah, it just happens. They're just, climb up a ladder in space. It's all fine and dandy. And be fucked if I know. I think also because with John Candy, I always thought he just looked ridiculous in this outfit, in this getup and makeup. I always thought his character, maybe not always, but I do think his character looks a bit ridiculous. Obviously that's the point, but again, I just thought, John Candy didn't really need that to be funny. I don't know, just something about it where I liked him in the film, but there's just other roles I liked him more in. But yeah, they do try to put some budget, like again the female C-3PO, the model work, all the other type of effects. I'm trying to wonder if it says here who did the special effects. I just also, when I got this DVD, I thought the documentary would be a bit longer, but it was what it was. Yeah, they're flying away in their Winnebago while the bad guys got their empty car, or empty ship as they come to find out. I don't know why I keep saying car. Like I said, I think the costumes work rather well for what kind of movie it is. This little thing, this guy says, "Jawohl." And the way Rick Moranis looks at him like, what the fuck did you just say? I'm not a Nazi. What the fuck you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? I'm laughing because I'm just thinking about later where it's like, you captured their stunt doubles. See, stuff like that was really clever and really funny, and at least a lot of comedies and parodies just don't have that anymore. Also, like the caliber of comedians and actors and to me they're just not there nowadays for a lot of stuff. And I don't think it's just because of you have to be a bit more careful with what you have to say. That's some of it, but it just, to me, just not as much talent as there was back then. People get mad at me for saying that. I'm still going to say it. They flew the fuck away. Ludicrous speed. See, these guys worked really well together. Rick Moranis and this guy. Ludicrous speed. It's even funnier when Rick Moranis, they see this footage later, and then Rick's like, skip this. In fact, never show this again. Just a crazy visual that, yeah, you had the lights that you have in Star Wars, but okay, just make that somehow they go with the plaid. Dude, it's such a weird idea that never would have thought of. Like, yeah, they've gone to plaid. That whole... Well, you said you want to stop. Here you go. One-stop shopping. Sayonara. Yeah, at least the helmet protected him. They smoked him if he got him, right? Just completely knocked the fuck out. Yeah, sorry, I'm just now damn sucked into the movie. But yeah, with Spaceballs, I was always... I should look up how well it did, or if it did well at all. I got a computer right here. Move this a bit. Because I'm surprised it never got a sequel. Granted, a lot of Mel... Really, I can't think of any Mel Brooks films that got sequels, but I'm still surprised this didn't get a sequel with how popular of a title it became. And especially, I mean, the whole part of the movie about merchandising. Well, actually, I guess the movie didn't do as well as they hoped. $22 million budget, and it only made $38 million. That's not a whole lot. Damn, sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my throat today. Again, sorry about that. Yeah, George Wyner, he was the Colonel Sanders, the guy who worked with Rick Moranis. George, what else he's done? He seems familiar. He was in Fletch, and Fletch Lives. American Pie 2 as the camp director. Quite a few episodes of TV shows. Walker Texas Ranger, Murphy Brown. He was in The Devil's Advocate. When Brooks developed Spaceballs, he wanted his parody to be as close to the original as possible, even though the Yoda, character mentions merchandising the film. Brooks' deal with George Lucas on parodying Star Wars was that no Spaceballs action figures be made. Lucas said, "Your action figures are going to look like mine." I said, "Okay." However, this agreement inspired Mel Brooks to write Yoda's merchandising scene. Mel Brooks also had Lucas's company handle the post-production, saying, "I was playing ball with the people who could have said no." Lucas later sent Mel Brooks a note saying how much he loved the film, including its story structure, that he was afraid he would bust something from laughing. Bill Pullman got the part when Mel Brooks and his wife Anne Bancroft saw him in a play. He had never seen Star Wars prior to filming. Mel Brooks had been unsuccessfully trying to sign on big-name actors like Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks. Bill Pullman said, "I think Mel Brooks was hurt that they didn't take him up on it, but then it attracted two of the big comics at the time, John Candy and Rick Moranis. Once that was secured, then he said, 'Heck, I did somebody nobody knows, and I got a chance to do it. So yeah, I didn't know that he wanted Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks. Which I don't know if I can see Tom Cruise. Tom Hanks, yeah, and he worked with John Candy and Splash and Volunteers. So I can see Tom Hanks working. But yeah, I'm glad Bill Pullman got it. Because we've seen Tom Hanks and John Candy together. And then Tom Hanks, he did the film Dragnet, which came out around the same time as this did. I don't know why, just the idea of him drinking through that mask for some reason makes me smirk. VHS, back in the day. All the Mel Brooks films. This was, again, another creative idea. We're in the middle of making it. We got Spaceballs movie? Yes, instant cassettes. They're out in stores before the movie's finished. Which is interesting, the cover that they choose is not the cover for the actual movie. I'm guessing this is why this stuff is so up close, because they had to put this stuff in after they were done filming instead of have them in the same shot. Go past this part. If I'd never played this again. But especially this part here where they're at the same part as they are now. It just extremely clever. What the hell am I looking at? Now. You're looking at now, sir. Everything that happens now is happening now. What happened then? We passed that. When? Just now. We're at now. Go back to then. When? How? We can't. We missed it. When? Just now. When will then be now? Soon. See, that's what I mean. Like, the heroes are, fine. But when we're at the villains, it just gets the biggest laughs out of it. At least for me. And yeah, maybe that's why I put like Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles above this. But at least I do, I want to say it for the last time, I do still like the film. But yeah, I didn't know it made so little money back then. So, no, Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles were definitely bigger hits compared to this. I don't know why. I just assumed it made more money. $30 million on a $22.7 million budget. That's not much. $22 million plus, yeah, I think some marketing. At least, I don't know. The budget had to be at least 30. I don't know what the marketing budget was, but advertising. Many critics agree that while it was funny, doing a Star Wars parody 10 years after the original film had been released seemed pointless. Roger Ebert said, I enjoyed a lot of the movie, but I kept thinking I was at a revival. It should have been made several years ago, before our appetite for Star Wars satires had been completely exhausted. Which is, I disagree with that. I mean, because they're so popular of a film, of a franchise, people know of it, they recognize it, they've seen it multiple times. Okay, I will say with the effects, this is one of the lesser effects. Look at that background. That background is pretty damn bad. That background is really fake looking. With like the little stars on top of Bill Pullman's head, wherever the hell they're supposed to be. Like it's clearly like just a painting behind them, but It is 1987. It is what it is. The film won Worst Picture at the 1987 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards? What? Really? What the fuck is the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards? This did not deserve Worst Picture. Are you fucking kidding me? The fuck are you talking about? The hell is this thing? So you're telling me that the nominations were the Garbage Pail Kids movie, Ishtar, Leonard Part 6, Who's That Girl, but Spaceballs won. So it shows this is a full of shit joke, whatever the hell it is. It's all full of shit. What else have they... in? So I'm just seeing like what other years do they feature and what else was nominated or won, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Let's see, apparently in 1999, Baby Geniuses, Blair Witch Project, Inspector Gadget, Mod Squad, and Wild Wild West were nominated. Wild Wild West won. In 1989, Best of the Best, Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Gods Must Be Crazy 2, Harlem Nights, and Wicked Stepmother. Best of the Best was nominated for Worst Film in 1989? Yeah, okay, dude. Alright. So there's a novelization of the film in 1987. Yeah, the animated TV show in 2008. Which, if you want to talk about stuff that was done too late, that I would say. In 2013, Rick Moranis did an interview, and he and Mel Brooks had discussed a potential sequel. Rick Moranis pitched the title Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2. But a deal was not able to be structured. Then in 2015, Mel Brooks said, you know what, it'd be nice to do a sequel called Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. That'd actually be a good title. Rick Moranis vocally reprised his role as Dark Helmet in an episode of Spaceballs of the American sitcom The Goldbergs. Huh. So yeah, that's crazy. Like, Rick Moranis would be up for it. Mel Brooks might be up for it. Bill Pullman says it's up to Mel. Ask him if he has too much money, and that's why he doesn't do it. So it seems like if Bill Pullman did Independence Day 2, he would do Spaceballs 2. And like, right, I'm tired of sequels being made. I think it's too late, but if it was like 10 years before, perhaps. Here we have our own versions of the Jawas. So Mel Brooks, he did The Producers, which I could never get into The Producers. It's there. I like Blazing Saddles, The Unfrankenstein more. Silent movie I've never seen. I would like to see that one day. High Anxiety, I could not get into. That's actually one of my least favorites. History of World Part 1 was okay. Spaceballs I liked. Robin Hood Men in Tights is a lot of fun. And Dracula Dead and Loving is the last film he directed. And I had fun with that film too. I thought that was a pretty entertaining flick. And people forget Mel Brooks produced the Fly remake from 1986. Like well, I don't know if his name was on as producer, but he had a good hand in it. He might have taken his name off only because, well, if your name's attached, people may think it's a comedy. But I know it's from, what was the company name? Brooks Film? Yeah, Brooks Films. Yeah, the new producer is Mel Brooks, produced by his company Brooks Films. And they took his name off because people would think it was a comedy. But he still had a good hand in it. And this is sort of a Wizard of Oz type of thing where you think it's a much bigger figure, but it's not. This diminutive little guy type of, instead of Yoda's yogurt. The Schwartz. Pretty decent makeup on him as well. And this is where you don't need the whole merchandising. There you go. Which is one of the better gags in the movie about all the merchandising. Just like, I mean, just a take on all the merchandising Star Wars had. Spaceballs the t-shirts. Spaceballs the dolls. Which Star Wars had all this shit. I mean, they had cereal, they had lunch boxes, they had everything. And sort of take on, the reason we're doing this is to make all this merchandise, which they weren't really able to do. I wonder what happened to all those props, like Spaceballs the cereal and that doll. I wonder if someone grabbed them and took them home. Spaceballs the sheets. Now see, if this is RoboCop, those two women would be topless. Of course, combing the desert, doing it literally. Are we being too literal? No, you fool, we're following orders. We were told to comb the desert, we're combing it. And one of the best line readings in the movie coming up here. I love this line reading. We ain't found shit. That's one of the best bits of the movie, easily. We ain't found shit. I guess that cover on IMDb, the poster on there is the poster that was on the VHS in this movie. But I remember the VHS, it was a different cover. It's probably not on here, but it was a different cover of all the characters in the middle kind of looking in different directions. I forgot this actually had a little booklet. Let's see. Yeah, that's the little booklet here. Which is, I mean, it was kind of cool back in the day, DVDs. Some of them would actually go to the trouble of making these little trinkets. Which was nice. 7.1 IMDb, so yeah, there's a lot of fans of this film for good reason. And Mel Brooks, he's up there in age, and I think he's still with us, which is cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, you get this big old flat foot type of effect. And it's one of those things that it's kind of cute of a joke, but like I said, the whatever goes to the villains, that's where the bitter jokes come from. Just like later on when you have him playing with the dolls, Rick Moranis, and it just cracks me up. Like, if there's an MVP of the movie, I would say it's Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet, and then his buddy still protected his junk, still protected his balls, just in case. So other like Mel Brooks films like Blazing Saddles gets a 7.7, Robin Hood Men in Tights 6.7, Young Frankenstein 8, History of the World Part 1 6.8, Spaceballs the animated series 4.2. 4.2 I got. And I'm looking at the cover, because I don't remember much about this fucking cartoon. The designs look awful. Fucking awful. It says the animated series, but it says an hour and 34 minutes. So does that mean that's how many fucking episodes were made? It looks fucking awful. The show will satirize such household names as Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, Terminator, The Pirates of the Caribbean, and American Idol, parodying these mega hits with lighthearted political and social satire, as well as slapstick comedy. Well, no wonder it went wrong. So Mel Brooks did come back to voice President Scrooge and Yogurt. I guess it lasted 15 episodes. Tino Insana was Barf. D. Bradley Baker was Dark Helmet. Reno Romano as Lone Star. Daphne Zuniga came back as Princess Vespa, and Joan Rivers came back as Dot Matrix. Huh. Dom DeLuise was in one episode as Pizza the Hut, apparently. Huh. Yeah, that show looks fucking awful. Jesus. There's the sequel. The Search for More Money. Of course, it take on The Search for Spot, but I mean, that's the perfect title for The Search for More Money. Just why wouldn't it be? But yeah, I mean, it says in Mel Brooks 2013, George Lucas gave permission on one condition, that absolutely no merchandise of any kind be produced from this movie. So not just action figures, but no merchandise. That's why none of the merchandise seen in the movie was ever mass produced or publicly sold in any way. Okay. So, just the crew kept them, maybe? See, this is the action figure just Rick Moranis. this is weird, like cosplay action figure toy thing. It just not something you would think of seeing in this kind of movie. Like I say, Rick Moranis steals the show. Even this scene here is just so fucking. The helmet is so big. That sort of like take on masturbation. Like, I found out. But his dad was playing with his dolls. Writer, producer, and director Mel Brooks team up with that idea for that scene on the set one day and told us to Rick Moranis, who then improvised the entire scene. So yeah, the entire scene was made just off the cuff. But you know, you have talented people that know what they're doing. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just looking at some of the other stuff. Yeah, apparently this is one of the more expensive Mel Brooks films. That's a really... I'll give you back your old nose! Apparently, an original title of the movie was Planet Moron? That's a horrible fucking name for a movie. I mean, I guess maybe at the time people don't know what the fuck Spaceballs meant. Like, Spaceballs? So, I mean, in retrospect, Spaceballs... It fits with the title now, but back then, you gotta think you don't know anything about the movie. You don't know what the movie is. You don't know if the movie's good or not. And you go, oh, it's Spaceballs. I'm like, what the fuck is Spaceballs? I don't watch some Spaceballs? Well, I don't want to see their balls. You turn off the whole movie. Says James Caan was the original choice to play Lone Star, but he was struggling with addiction issues at the time, and then unknown Bill Pullman won the role, as James Caan was deemed too expensive to insure. I don't know if that's true, but that if so, that's the first time I ever heard of that. Colonel Sanders, the guy to the right of Rick Moranis, Mel Brooks, apparently Steve Martin was the original choice. Which I could see Steve Martin playing that role, and he would have been pretty good, but this guy does a good job too. Industrial Light and Magic did do the effects on this. Along with Caddyshack 2 and Beetlejuice and Bid, this movie is notable for containing fuck in a movie, rated PG by the MPAA. I'm trying to remember when the word fuck is used in this. It's been a little bit since I've seen this. I'm trying to remember when that is used. Oh, yeah, that's right. At the end, when they're trying to escape, out of order. Fuck. Even in the future, nothing works. Because it take on Star Wars: A New Hope when Luke and Han have to rescue the princess. Only this is these two. So I'm trying to see if there's any other trivia that would be interesting for this. Yeah, I can't think of any right now. And sorry about my eye twitching. Allergies just kicking my butt in this time of year. Sorry, yeah, I apologize for that. But yeah, I think this is where you get into the whole stunt double stuff, which is very, pretty damn funny. But like you said, even with, I've said this before, like even when you're doing a parody, they realize let's actually make it work as a film. Like I mean, the comedy thankfully works and it's funny, but also you get ILM doing the effects. The music I think is pretty decent and works with the film. The cast is capable and can hold their own. The characters get their moments to shine. Like John Candy gets his moment to shine here. Princess Vespa gets her Rambo moment later on when they mess with her stuff. This is where the stunt double scene again, one of the best gags in the movie by far. You capture their stunt doubles. And shut up. I think this guy, is he Ned from Groundhog Day? The guy talking? Ned? And then Bill Murray punches him? I think it's him. You idiots. You capture their stunt doubles. Yeah, I thought that was pretty damn clever. Because, yeah, obviously they would have stunt doubles, and yeah, why wouldn't they be caught? If it's for witty joke, you could bend the laws of reality in films like this. Oh shit, fucked up her hair. Son of a bitch must pay. Dun, 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 dun. Yippee-ki fucking A. Always nice to have a Rambo reference in there. Which is the thing, like after, I would say especially after Rambo 2, anything with a lot of firepower, a lot of gunplay, you always will reference Rambo. And then First Blood, good movie, came out in 82, but Rambo First Blood Part 2 in 85, which is a favorite of mine, that definitely changed the landscape. It turned Rambo into, really into, thrusted into the pop culture lexicon. I mean, Mel Brooks and Rick Moranis worked very well together. They're very much in sync, simpatico with each other. This whole idea of this like taking air, I like this. You have a world trapped, like keeping their air supply intact. This whole shield around the planet. And so you have the ship becoming a fucking transformer to suck the air up. But it's done with ILM model work. It's definitely creative. It's definitely unique. And it's not the movie stopping and going, oh, let's have a parody of, I don't know, what the hell, Alien. I'm trying to think of a movie at that time. Rocky Balboa. Let's stop the movie and let's have a guy dressed up in Rocky Balboa outfit and shorts and boxing gloves and do the Rocky music and just for no damn reason. And again, the music works well in complementing the look of it. And as outrageous as it is, you get some, again, decent effects work. Spaceball 1 has become Mega Made. Well, it certainly does suck. Not really. Not at all, actually. But I do wonder if this film was a big hit. Let's say this film made 70 million at the box office at the time, which would be a lot for this movie, or 80 million. I do wonder if they would have been more gun-ho to doing a sequel and what that would have been. Like if you had a sequel in 89 or 90, I wonder if they'd be a parody of like the Star Wars sequels, like Empire, Return of the Jedi. Will you put them together? Would it be other sci-fi films you would go into? Like, would you have references to? I don't know. Nowadays, it's too late. Back then, perhaps. Dude, yeah, how many sequels are so belated, and very few of them are actually worth a spit. A little bit of that Schwartz business. You know, if they really have this, on-off switch on the outside of it, idea why would they actually go out there and try to switch the shit off? Why even have a reverse? Well, I guess a reverse to put into their atmosphere. It's funny how they don't have any way to counter their own equipment. But you're not supposed to look at reality and logic in films like this. Not one damn bit. But it's still somewhat trying to tell an actual story where, this person was ready to die and he gets his air back and he's joyful of that, of course. They're entering here, like entering the Death Star. Like I said, that's a pretty decent effect. The old scanner bit on the outside, the thing swirling around. But it's sad, when films like this that they just have their ambition, their creative juices flowing. People can say I'm so cynical. True, because I don't see a lot of that going on in today's age. I really, sadly, do not. I sadly do not. It sucks, but I think that's the fucking a lot of the truth in the matter. It's one of those things I look at and go, man, this could be a lot better in a variety of ways. At least, I mean, in films nowadays, not this film. Like this Vulcan nerve pinch? Nah, you stupid, you got it too high, you gotta go by the collar. Shoulder meets the neck. I think that's one of the better jokes. Well, I do wonder in retrospect if they had a bit more money, if they would have tried to put even more different types of aliens or so forth in this. Because you had Pizza the Hut, you had yogurt, you had the little alien near the end of the film that's a parody of the chest burster. Ew. I'm guessing that's whipped cream. Because you don't want fucking shaving cream in your damn mouth. Level guys, no damn stippy. I mean, whipped cream would work just as well. You wouldn't know the fucking difference, really. Like I said, in retrospect, just fun to see Bill Pullman in this type of role. I mean, he's done bits here and there as comedy. There was a film he did where he was a private eye called. I swear he played a character like Zero. I forgot what the hell it was called. But that was a little bit of a comedy. Although I just didn't think it was as funny as people made out to be. But. Like, I'm just, watch. Kill one of the crewmen. He did it. What? But I mean, you look at the effects of the lightsabers. The lightsabers look pretty damn decent. Like they did in the older Star Wars movies. Yeah, believe me, for any guy, if your Schwartz is twisted, you gotta go to a doctor for that shit. Stat. And the thing that probably made this a little bit harder is, well, probably not. They probably, like in light, for the lightsabers, they have a rod attached to it. So it's like a rod, and they can overlay on the rod. But here, there has to be just a ring, and then that tells her it disappears or reappear, and so you literally have to probably act it out, and unless maybe with editing tricks. Or do we have a rod, then take it out, put it back in? That's why I'm surprised there's really not more detail into the effects or other pieces of the production on this. I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book. What's with you, man? Evil will always triumph because good is dumb. That's a pretty damn good flip. The idea is not about the rain, it's about the power hidden within you. The guy sure loves to go for the nuts, this dark helmet. Probably don't call him cock puncher. Yeah, never have a self-destruct button at your place. It will never end well. Again, for any bad guys out there, never put a self-destruct button. There's no way it's going to end good. Yeah, as in get the fuck out of Dodge. Need to get the fuck out of here. I don't know who does this song, but it's kind of a fun song. I do enjoy it. Spaceballs. In Spaceballs. Ja, Spaceballs. Everyone else gets to stay pot except for them. It's so weird to have like a bearded lady and a guy in an obvious bear suit and Rick made that scene work. Get back here, you fat bearded bitch. As does Mel Brooks. Like, these seatbelts ain't working. Oh, this is where he says the F word. This is out of order. Fuck. Like I said, these three are pretty hilarious together. At least I find them funnier than the lead characters. Although I do like, I mentioned that before. It is interesting. Like they blow up the bad guys, things are well, and you still have about 15, 16 minutes left of the movie, and that's not all in credits. Because usually in this type of thing, once the deal is done, it's over. But they actually wanted to develop a bit more with the characters and have them come to a satisfying conclusion. So they don't have to give the money to Pizza the Hut. They can keep the money themselves, so they don't be rich. And then one loves the other, so he wants to stop the wedding, and then finds out he's a prince. Actually, no, if I remember, he didn't take the million. He just took a little bit of money. I kind of an interesting difference where you see the clothes, they're kind of like from the Teen Arthur days or before, and obviously before these old custom clothes, but then this whole sci-fi element. Now, if you look at the parking lot to the right and the wide shot, one of them is actually the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, if you go to this diner and you pause and you look to the right, one of the things, the part there is the Millennium Falcon. So it makes me wonder, where's Han and Chewie? Are they in the bathroom or something? They decide, like some people sleep in their trucks. They decided to sleep in the Falcon. That's what I mean. I don't think like the best dialogue was written for John Candy. I'll have the cleavage, or I didn't deal with his tail. And this is a parody of Alien. Even though John Hurt himself, may he rest in peace. And you look at some of the clothing. Some like the guy on the left was kind of look like Parker. I love this guy's reading coming up. Water my ass! Bring this guy's a Pepto Bismol. That may be my favorite line reading. That's fucking hilarious, that guy. I want to know who that guy is. Water my ass! Bring this guy's a Pepto Bismol. I love that fucking. That guy's hilarious. Okay, how do you do a take on the chest burster? Have him. Remember that frog from back to the day in the cartoons? There you go. All done with puppetry. Oh yeah, I think I have each of these lays kicked out. The right time is the mouth is working to sing this song. Smooth movements, no herky jerky or screw ups. And then there's a part that's like, man, kind of an interesting universe to experience if you go to a diner and that crazy shit can happen. Makes you wonder what other crazy shit's around the galaxy. And sorry for my yawning. It's late. Yes, I turned down the money. No, shut up. Nobody got nothing to eat. Deal with it. Fucking deal with it. Holy shit, fuck. Here's your fortune. You're shit out of luck. Oh no, that was Dirty Harry. The Deadpool. You're shit out of luck. How convenient. How convenient that he happened to be a prince. He's Prince Albert in a can. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better catch up with it. Alright, see you in the sequel. Which never happened. He doesn't say that, but I'm surprised they didn't say that. That's interesting. I wonder if there was ever a way to do that in an actual car, like down the road. Like, hey, you have emergency fuel. You could just pour it in from the inside of your car instead of the outside. Especially like if it's really cold out, you don't want to go outside to pump gas or something. So let's pour some in here. Of course, with the amount of gas that you would need to be worth a shit, it'd have to be a ton. I hear you're taped on Planet of the Apes. So they do sci-fi references, but again, they stick with their story, and when they do a reference, it's sparingly but effective. Like Aliens, and Star Trek here, Planet of the Apes. And they don't try to reference every fucking sci-fi film. I don't know why that one ape on the right always seemed like it was. Oh, what's his name? Why can't I remember his name? Supergirl. He was in Supergirl. Peter O'Toole. Or either Peter O'Toole or Michael York or. I think Michael York is the one I'm thinking of more. From Logan's Run. Not Peter O'Toole. Michael York. Well, shit. There goes the planet. I don't know why I thought Peter O'Toole. It shows how late it is. My mind's going to stupid places. Like usual. So. Holy shit! Nah, he says Molly. Again, so many people have that Prince Valiant haircut. Wonder where the hell they got this outfit, though. That's an outfit ready for Michael Jackson and Captain EO that Bill Pullman's wearing, or the Beatles in the 70s. I think another thing, random, like Dot Matrix, other than a couple lines, she didn't really bring much usage to the film. YOT had the little Virgin alarm, and maybe aesthetically speaking, the look of it. But she didn't bring a lot of use to. Oh, if that character wasn't there, they never would have made it out. But just, aesthetically, yeah, interesting look. And it depends how you feel about Joan Rivers. I'm pretty indifferent on it. I always liked it when they did these kind of credits where they give each person their own moment to. There's the face, there's the name, their own moment of recognition. Like at the end of Predator, they do it. Among many other films. It always nice to see that. That's why I was surprised they didn't do it for like the Expendables films with how many famous people they had. And, other movies, like, here's all the famous people that give their moments to shine. But here's like, okay, there's Michael Winslow, so you have a face to the name. Joan Rivers is the voice of Dot Matrix. Produced by Mel Brooks. So yeah, still a fun movie, still an entertaining film. Still, I get more of the laughs out of the villains, but and that one guy, we ain't found shit, or yeah, I want to know who's the Pepto Bismol guy. I don't know if that says in here in the credits, or who would that even be? Stephen Tobolowski, that's the guy who said, these are their stunt doubles. That's the guy who was Ned Ryerson, the guy Bill Murray punched out in Groundhog Day. Stephen Tobolowski, he was also in, I believe, The Glamour Man with Steven Seagal, and he's been in a lot of other stuff. Let's see. Let's see. John Hurt as John Hurt, radio operator, minister, Prince Valium, major asshole, laser gunner, captain of the guard. They might not have them in there, or if so, I don't know how you would differentiate them. Trucker and Cap, maybe? Wayne Wilson? Maybe. I don't know. Oh, Ed Gale, Tony Cox, like... Okay, so Dom DeLuise did voice Piece of the Hut in this. So maybe they were able to use that for that cartoon show. Raise Your Hands, performed by Bon Jovi. The Pointer Sisters, Berlin. Some of the people doing the effect, the soundtrack, the songs. Sometimes in these, well, I guess that was more the Zuckers when they would do their parodies. They would have like funny end credits. Yeah, Mel Brooks didn't do that type of stuff. I was trying to remember if there was anything after the end credits. No. That was much more of a rare thing back in the day to have stuff during the end credits. I mean, other than like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there was something after the end credits of that, where Ferris Bueller's telling you to go home, or Masters of the Universe, the Dolph Lundgren film. After the end credits, you have Skeletor. You find out he's still alive. But yeah, other than that, Spaceballs, very fun movie, entertaining comedy, castmates have worked well, and definitely one of the better Mel Brooks films. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.